During Dr. Alexander Aston's 6 decades as an intellectual leader in higher education, he attained many professional accomplishments, including Director of Research for the American Council on Education, Professor of Higher Education, and Alum M. Carter Chair at UCLA, and Director of the Higher Education Research Institute. Dr. Aston established the Cooperative Institutional Research Program Freshman Survey in 1966, an annual survey of entering college students that has collected data on over 15 million students over the last half-century. He made an incredible imprint on the field of student affairs by empirically demonstrating the importance of students' out-of-class experiences, thus validating the importance of work conducted by student affairs practitioners and contributing to the expansion of the field over the last half-century. Dr. Aston was also known for his groundbreaking work on civic engagement and spirituality in higher education, with much of his work conducted in collaboration with his beloved wife and intellectual partner Helen Lena Aston. Dr. Aston was the author of more than 300 publications, including 23 books, and he was selected by readers of Change magazine as the person who is most admired for creative, insightful thinking in the field of higher education. He was an elected member of the National Academy of Education, a fellow at the Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences at Stanford University, the recipient of 11 honorary degrees, as well as the recipient of numerous awards made by scholarly and professional associations, including the ACPA Outstanding Contribution and Knowledge Award in 1978 and the ACPA Senior Scholar Award in 1984. Dr. Aston was a beloved mentor to generations of scholars in the field of higher education, motivating, supporting, and inspiring students and colleagues alike. Today, we send our appreciation to Dr. Aston's children and grandchildren as we honor the life, legacy, and passing of Dr. Alexander Aston on May 18, 2022. During more than 30 years in higher education, Kitty McGrath served as a leader in her roles as Executive Director for Career Services at Arizona State University, Director of Career and Placement Services at the University of Notre Dame, and Director of Career Services at Indiana University South Bend. She was most well known as an insightful, forward-looking professional who brought spirit, good humor, and a commitment to professional development and excellence to the association she served. She was ACPA's Career Planning and Placement Commission Chair from 1982 to 1984, President of the Midwest Association of Colleges and Employers from 1991 to 1992, and a member of the Board of Governors for the National Association of Colleges and Employers from 1993 to 1996. The career services profession was richer for her presence. Her many friends and colleagues retain admiration and respect for her graciousness, kindness, advice, guidance, and mentoring. Today, we send our appreciation to Kitty's husband, Gary, as we honor the life, legacy, and passing of Kitty McGrath on May 20th, 2022. During his 40 years in higher education, Dr. Bob Rogers attained many professional accomplishments. He is perhaps most well known for his efforts at The Ohio State University through service to the Higher Education and Student Affairs Program and the Student Personnel Assistantship Program. Through his tireless efforts on behalf of students and their learning, he created classroom environments where students flourished. He was devoted to the study and advancement of student development theory, and his work was a gift to the student affairs profession. He taught generations of graduate students to more fully understand the students they work with and turn theory into thoughtful, impactful practice. Those he taught and mentored have gone on to work in countless colleges and universities, hearing Bob's voice as they make meaning of working with and for college students. With this memorial resolution today, we send our love to friends, family, and colleagues closest to him, and celebrate and remember the life and passing of Dr. Bob Rogers on August 12, 2022. During Dr. Gabriel Cerna's over 20 years in higher education, he achieved many professional accomplishments, including publishing a number of articles, chapters, and books on higher education finance, as well as generously mentoring students and colleagues. He is most well known for his efforts to extend access to and to affirm and uplift the most marginalized students in higher education, while in service to New Mexico State University, the University of Kentucky, University of North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Michigan State University. Through his brilliance, insight, and compassion, he inspired colleagues and students. Motivated by his personal story as an unlikely college student in New Mexico who went on to earn a PhD from Indiana University, he prioritized his scholarly mentoring and teaching work in areas that would humanize the academy for others. Today, we send our support and appreciation to Dr. Cerna's husband, Dan, and his children as we honor the life, legacy, and passing of Dr. Gabriel Cerna on August 17, 2022. During her 40 years in higher education, Dr. Johnson attained many professional accomplishments in her primary role as a guidance counselor at Minneapolis Community College. She is most well known for her dedication to professional development within ACPA. Dr. Johnson was president of the ACPA Minnesota chapter and served on the governing board from 1983 to 1984 as vice president of state divisions. Her students came first and always received her full and undivided attention. With this memorial resolution today, we celebrate and remember the life and passing of Dr. Diane A. Johnson on November 18, 2022. During her more than 45 years in higher education, Dr. Teresa Powell attained many professional accomplishments. These include serving as Vice President for Student Affairs at Western Michigan University and at Temple University of Philadelphia. She was the first African-American woman to serve as President for NASPA and has received many of NASPA's highest honors. Dr. Powell was never too busy to serve her campus, community, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and most importantly, her beloved family. She has had an immeasurable impact on thousands of higher education professionals and has helped thousands of students graduate from college. With this memorial resolution today, we send our love to friends, families, and colleagues closest to her and celebrate and remember the life and passing of Dr. Teresa Powell on January 2, 2023. During his over 40 years as a higher education professional, Dr. Ludwig John Spolyar served at Long Beach College, California State College at Fullerton, University of Washington, and University of Minnesota. He earned his degrees from San Jose State College and Michigan State University. He was steadfast in his work with students through counseling services and was the founder of the Campus Assistance Center at the University of Minnesota. He was involved in both the American Psychological Association and ACPA, serving in many roles, including as president of the Minnesota College Personnel Association. With this memorial resolution today, we celebrate and remember the life and passing of Dr. Ludwig John Spolyar on February 5, 2023. During his 40 years in higher education, Dr. David G. Braverman was a leader and mentor to many in the student affairs profession. Over his career, his experiences in the area of student success provided a deep understanding and intentionality to his work, which was centered in the development of both the students and staff he served. He was an advocate for professional involvement and was an active member of many higher education organizations, including ACPA, where he served on the ACPA Governing Board, Leadership Board for the Missouri College Personnel Association, Mid-Level Managers Institute faculty, and 2006 ACPA Diamond Honoree. With this memorial resolution today, we celebrate and remember the life and passing of Dr. David Braverman on February 8, 2023. Although they were not directly part of the ACPA membership in recent years, our community also mourns the passing of Renardo Hall, Nancy S. King, Adam Peck, Glenn Ray Martin, Barry McKinney, and Molly Corbett Broad. Dr. Sissy Petty has served student affairs in higher education for over 42 years. She has worked at several institutions, including St. Lawrence University, Loyola University New Orleans, the George Washington University, Florida Institute of Technology, the University of North Carolina at Asheville, the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and Mississippi University for Women. Dr. Petty served ACPA as a member of the Senior Student Affairs Advisory Board and the editorial board of ACPA Books and Media. She was also an engaged member of NASPA and has received numerous honors from both organizations. By former students, Dr. Petty is described as a lightning bolt on 2 feet, and she will be fondly remembered as the dean down the hall by concluding her career the way many started, living on campus with her students. We thank and congratulate Dr. Petty for her many contributions to higher education and ACPA, and we wish her well in her retirement. Dr. John Mueller has served student affairs in higher education for almost 40 years, as a professor and a department chair in the Department of Student Affairs and Higher Education at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Prior to his faculty experience, he was a student affairs practitioner at Illinois State University, Temple University, and Stony Brook University. He has been a passionate advocate for social justice, equity, and multicultural competence in student affairs and higher education, and has been a transformative, inspirational leader. He has served ACPA in a variety of leadership positions, including as a senior scholar, trustee of the ACPA Foundation, coordinator for the ACPA Annuit Coeptis Award, and many other committees and task forces. We thank and congratulate Dr. John Mueller for his many contributions to higher education and ACPA and wish him well in his retirement. Dan Morrison has served student affairs in higher education for almost 40 years. He has worked at several institutions, including Rutgers University, Georgia Tech, the University of Maryland College Park, and Ohio Wesleyan University. Dan has served on the ACPA Foundation Board, assumed multiple roles on 4 different convention teams, and was on several directorates and task forces. He has received the Outstanding Service Award from ACPA and is a Diamond Honoree. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication from the University of Toledo and his Master of Arts degree in Student Counseling and Personnel Services from The Ohio State University. We thank and congratulate Dan Morrison for his many contributions to higher education and ACPA, and we wish him well in his retirement. Dr. Robert Schwartz has served student affairs in higher education for over 45 years at the University of South Carolina and the University of North Dakota. He was an engaged member of ACPA, ASH, and NASPA, and involved in the Association for Institutional Research, the International History of Education Society, and the Southern History of Education Society. Dr. Schwartz earned his degrees from Hanover College, Ball State University, and Indiana University. He is a mentor to hundreds of former students, many of whom currently serve higher education as administrators and faculty around the world. We thank and congratulate Dr. Bob Schwartz for his many contributions to higher education and ACPA, and wish him well in his retirement activities. Dr. Marilee S. Dunn has been a leader in student affairs and higher education for over 40 years. She has served at Marquette University, Mississippi State University, and the University of Georgia. She has also served on the board for the Council for the Advancement of Standards in Higher Education, the ACPA Governing Board, and the ACPA Foundation Board. She is a recipient of the Annuit Coeptis Senior Professional Award and 2016 Diamond Honoree. Dr. Dunn is a dedicated educator, scholar, and mentor. She believes that a life spent with students is a life well spent, and has begun a lasting legacy as a co-founder for the Cooper Dunn Dean Fund for the College Student Affairs Administration graduate programs at the University of Georgia's Mary Frances Early College of Education. We thank and congratulate Dr. Marilee Dunn for her many contributions to higher education and ACPA, and wish her well in her retirement activities. ACPA congratulates 8 entity groups who have reached milestone anniversaries this year: the Commission for Student Conduct and Legal Issues, the Coalition for Women's Identities, and the Pennsylvania College Personnel Association celebrate their 50th anniversaries. The Coalition on Men and Masculinities celebrates their 40th anniversary. The Illinois College Personnel Association and the Multiracial Network celebrate their 20th anniversaries. The Caribbean Tertiary Level Personnel Association celebrates its 15th anniversary, and the Indigenous Student Affairs Network celebrates their 5th anniversary. Each of these groups have provided their members with innovative, personal, and accessible professional development, scholarship, and networking opportunities. Congratulations on your milestone anniversaries and for your impact, leadership, and service to the higher education community.